How long should I expect my pool heater to last? Such an expensive component, pretty much the most expensive component on the equipment pad for your filtration system. And I think we all know they don't last as long as they used to. I remember in my grandparents' generation, 30 years was the standard. And that would have been my answer for you right here, right now. How long should my heater last? 30 years. And if it doesn't, get your nickel back. But it's not like that anymore. So what is it like now? The heaters in particular, I can point to as, I'm an industry veteran. I've been doing this 30 some odd years now. And I definitely have noticed that heaters started to fail more readily 10 to 15 years ago, something in that range. Used to be that you could kind of use and abuse your heater, set and forget it. Don't do anything like a spring maintenance or cleaning or anything like that. Just fire it up year after year. And you'd get 10 to 15 years before you even started to have problems with it. And then you got another 10 to 15 years of life after you're bringing in a gas technician to start servicing it for you. So a modern heater, right out of the box, I would expect that pool heater to last 10 years. It could be 7 to 10 years, depending on how well you maintain your water chemistry and if you have the heater bonded and a bunch of important stuff like that, and also just how much use is this heater getting. However, there are a ton of heaters failing in the 3 to 5 years, and there are even a handful failing in the 1 to 3 years. Being that I reach a nationwide audience, I get a lot of people reaching out to me about things like, hey, I'm on my third pool heater in 9 months of operation. So every 3 months their pool heater fails. The manufacturer sends out a technician who looks at it and goes, this is your fault, and they don't warranty it, and now the person buys another and they're on their third one and it's just started leaking and they just heard it's their fault again. So that is not a rare story, and could even be the reason why you found yourself down this rabbit hole finding this video. And what's going on here is I genuinely believe that we live in a society these days which makes products to fail. This isn't like the 50s where Acme brush made the best brush and this one brush will last your lifetime, or my name's not Hillbilly Jim or whatever. Like, that's nowadays we make stuff. We don't want it to come back under warranty, have it work as intended just long enough that you're satisfied, and then have it fail. And have it fail in a way which it's not serviceable, and the components aren't replaceable to the extent that you can just swap this or that and get it, eternal life out of the thing. Nope, you pretty much need to buy a new one. And it is what it is. Like, do you notice this? Do you agree? Do you find this in our modern society? Because I think that's what's happening with the pool heaters. I think they are being built with the scant minimum materials and material quality to get the job done, with essentially no forethought to longevity or attempt to build a heater which lasts forever. Which, like, I guess I get it. If the prerogative is the business needs to grow and sell more stuff every year, why the heck would they want to make you a pool heater that lasts forever and you'll never buy another pool heater? So I get it, but here you are shelling out for them year after year. Where it really gets you, where it matters more than anything else here, is your water chemistry. And I think hundreds, hundreds and hundreds of times I've been involved with pool heaters which have failed early, because even at one point I worked on the national level for support for a pool heater manufacturer, pool equipment manufacturer. And so we saw a lot of this. And basically every pool heater that failed early, I don't think I ever saw one where we didn't determine that water chemistry was the fault. You pull the heater apart, you look at it, you can go like, oh, look at all this damage from water chemistry. You didn't take care of your water chemistry properly. And then the very next question they ask you is, give us your weekly water chemistry reports, like your historical records for this stuff, like a commercial setting would have, but you probably don't have. You'd be lucky to have any of your water samples around, or maybe you don't even take them out and have like a printout. Maybe you're just testing them at home and you see it, you make the chemical corrections accordingly and move on with your day. Well, you're out of luck, because this pool heater is damaged from bad pool chemistry. What's actually going on here? The two things. One, they're building heaters to the absolute minimum passable quality standard. I think that's just a case, and I don't think that's one manufacturer, not the other. I think this is above the pool industry. This is just happening throughout society. So in regards to the pool heater, when it comes to water chemistry, do you put chlorine pucks in your skimmer? If you put chlorine pucks in your pool skimmer, which so many people do, there's even some pucks which say, no, it's totally cool. You can use our pucks in skimmers. I don't get it. I don't know how it works. If it's chlorine, I don't want it going through my pool equipment. And the last place I want it is going directly into my pool heater. And so they make a product. It's called an erosion feeder. It's very inexpensive, and you install it in your pool equipment downstream from your pool heater right before the water goes back to the pool. Why would we install it there? Why would every manufacturer of erosion heaters ever, and every manufacturer of pool heaters ever, tell you need to put that any source for chlorination, like an erosion feeder, needs to go downstream of the heater, so you don't send that chlorine into your heater? So why is it would be okay to put chlorine pucks into your pool skimmer? Where is that going? It goes immediately into your pump, which is holding like 4 liters of water tops, right into your filter. Heater's next in line. Like, it's a heavily chlorinated water, and maybe you used to be able to get away with that kind of stuff. I just genuinely don't think you can get away with it anymore. I think if you're doing that and putting chlorine in your pool skimmer and you have a pool heater, I think you can count on not getting any kind of longevity out of this heater. And I don't know what the number will be, but I bet you'll be disappointed with it. So we remove the low-hanging fruit. Spend $92 and install an erosion feeder. Now you don't need to put chlorine pucks in the pool skimmer. Bada bing. Solving problems all over the place. If you have an erosion feeder, put a chlorine resistant check valve in between the erosion feeder and the pool heater. Again, we're just solving problems. That's another maybe $80, $90. And now that the concentrated chlorine from that erosion feeder can't even backfeed under siphon conditions when the system gets opened and the pump stopped. That way you're really genuinely protecting your pool heater. And so far we've spent like $200 all in. And that's $200 well spent. What's a pool heater worth these days? $3,000? So $200 to make sure I'm going to get like twice the length of life out of it. That sounds like a steal of a deal to me. And, maybe go a mile further and make sure that the pool heater is bonded, install a sacrificial anode in between the filter and the heater. If you have a salt chlorinator, if you don't have one, you could install one anyway. It certainly wouldn't hurt. But, if we're really looking at the dollars and cents of it, maybe it wouldn't be worth it in your situation. But if you have a salt chlorine system, it definitely would. So a modern pool heater, you're never going to have situations where you have very low pH. That's a disaster for a pool heater. You're never going to have situations where you're smoking high chlorine levels, like really high, above, like, let's say 20 parts per million. And any time above 10, in between 10 and 20, is like, this is really bad for the heater. That's why you could, and some people do, install a bypass in their system. So the pH, you in theory, you never let it happen. You never let your pH get bad because you're just on it and it doesn't change that quickly. Like, you should see the problem coming and then you resolve that. With the high chlorine levels, you're kind of having to do this. You can't get away from it. You need to do breakpoint chlorination to destroy the buildup of chloramines in your pool, the used chlorine that's spent and combined with organic material and living there as a chloramine. You got to get rid of it somehow, and breakpoint chlorination is the normal way. So we're going to increase the free chlorine count in the pool to be 10 times the combined chlorine count, and we're going to hold it there for like 12 to 14 hours. And not let it come down. If it comes down, you got to re-up it and hold it there for 12 to 14 hours. So in doing that, the system's running the whole time. If you don't have a bypass for your pool heater, your pool heater is just getting blasted with chlorine here throughout this process. But throughout this process that you have to do, some people just do it every weekend. Whatever the combined chlorine level is on Sunday, that's when they do their breakpoint chlorination. And probably it's the best way to go, because then you're not really blasting the system with these crazy high chlorine levels. But most people aren't so proactive like that. They let it build up to, half a part per million, 1 part per million. Now you need at least 10 parts per million free chlorine to do the breakpoint chlorination. And that's a lot of chlorine for your pool heater. Like, again, a 30-year-ago tank maybe could handle that all day and all night, but the delicate pool heaters that they're sending out these days, I don't think they can, because I see too many examples of them failing early, and so many cases where the water chemistry isn't disastrously bad, marginally bad water chemistry over a sustained period, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. If your water chemistry is in the acidic state for a saturation index for 3 to 5 years. I don't think there's any metal left inside that heater. Like, pull one of your return eyeballs, which is often white, and look at the backside of it. Is it brown? If it's brown, that's metal that's supposed to be in your pool heater, right? And pretty soon you're going to notice that heater's leaking. You'll have a service tech out and they'll be like, I can't save it. It's done. You need a new heater. And so installing a pool heater bypass would be one of those additional things that you could look at doing. That way, in a known event like a breakpoint chlorination that you need to perform, we'll just take that heater offline for a little while the system's got this really high level of chlorine cycling through it. You can't do that forever. It's not a good idea to leave a pool heater sitting stagnant, and you can't even just really drain it. You would have to like go through the winterizing process if you wanted to go, let's say, longer than 24 hours, but maybe up to and including 24 hours, which would be the worst of the time with your high chlorine levels. You could even use a chlorine neutralizer if you wanted, but I wouldn't. I would just let the levels come back down after your breakpoint chlorination, and when they're at an acceptable level, that's the point at which I'd reintroduce some water going through the heater. So just a couple of ways that you can try to get some more life out of it. You're going to get maybe 7 to 10 years, ideally 3 to 5 if you're not doing great with your water chemistry. At 10 years, you're going to need to have some work done to it. An LCD screen will blank out on you, or it just stops firing, or it's spitting out an error code, and you'll get a service tech out there. They'll replace a pressure switch, or they'll replace something else, and you'll get another 5 years out of it. So where we used to get 30 years of life out of a pool heater, I would say our modern day equivalent in a best case scenario is about 15 years. That's 7 to 10 years of hopefully worry-free operation. And then after that point, maybe another 5 years after you've had a service tech come out and perform some repairs and replace some parts for you. But like 17 years from now, I find it hard to believe that the pool heater you're buying, installing today is going to just be running, keeping your pool hot. Probably before 20 years time, you're going to be into a new one for sure. And hopefully not half that. You see it a lot. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.